Okay, we're about 25, maybe 30 miles south of Missoula, Montana right now. We're on Highway 93. And we're taking a ride from Stevensville, Montana to Corvallis, Montana. So we're going to turn left on Highway 269. That's a state road. Wanted to make that light there. And here we go. Now I'm on the BMW R1250 RT, which is the 2019 model. It has about 1,200 miles on it right now. We've had it, 3 or 4 weeks, I think. And it's my first BMW in probably about 50 years. And that's no joke. So 50 years ago I had a 500 BMW, same type of boxer engine. Of course they've changed a huge amount since then. So this would be about my 5th motorcycle, I think, maybe 6th. The bike before this one I had was a Honda Africa Twin. And I think I sold it about a year ago. I bought it the first year they came out. I think that was 2016 or 17, can't remember, but it had been out a few months and I bought it. Good bike, but for me, this BMW is just far and away better for me than the Africa Twin was. So one of the features of this bike is this cruise control. You can see my left hand here, and it's got this on-off switch. I just leave it on all the time. And if I want to set a speed, I just push forward on this little tab. My speed is set. Now the cool part is that I'm doing about 45 right now. I can pull this little tab back one click at a time, and it loses 1 mile per hour per click. If I push it forward, it gains 1 mile an hour per click. So there's 44 miles an hour, push it forward, now I'm going at 45. It's a very cool feature. Now to turn it off, I can roll the throttle forward like this and it turns it off. I'll reset it. If I pull the clutch in with my left hand, you can see that, it turns it off. Or if I hit any brake, the rear or left brake. So there's 4 ways to turn that thing off. I think that's just a great feature of this bike, because my throttle hand gets fatigued on long rides, and that's a great way to stretch your hand out and get it back in shape. So we're going to wind it up here a little bit. We got some open road. As you can see, it'll do 100 pretty quick. And I have to say, this bike, out of all of my motorcycles, the last 50 years I've been riding on and off, not constantly, but Harley Road King, of course the Africa Twin, another Honda along the way, Triumph 650 when I was a kid, the Triumph Trident, I think they called it. And I enjoyed everything, but the BMW And it makes sense because it's more modern. It is the best motorcycle I've ever been on. Is it the best motorcycle out there? Well, I don't know. For me, it seems to be, but I haven't ridden them all, of course. The handling is what sold me on this thing. I went to a dealer in Spokane, West Side Motor, Spokane, Washington, and the girl there, the sales girl, her name is Sasha, and I was looking at them, and she said, go for a ride. So I took one of these 1250 RTs for a ride, and I went about 50 feet on it in their parking lot, and I was stunned at how it handled. It felt like I was on a 250 machine. It was so light feeling, and so much less cumbersome than my Harley was. Now, the new Harleys could be totally different. I'm talking about a Harley several years ago. I think it was a 2000 model Road King, so that would be 19 years ago, the Harley. But the BMW is it's over 200 pounds lighter than a Harley, and as far as the comfort and everything, for me, it's just incredible. Now, I'm in high wind right now. We have a crosswind blowing from right to left. We're southbound, so it's blowing from west to east right now. You can see the weeds on the road. The trees are getting stirred. So it's a pretty heavy crosswind with gusts at times, probably 30 to 40. And it's not really moving the motorcycle much. Now, my other motorcycles that wind this hard, a crosswind, you would be sort of fighting it. But on this motorcycle, wow. I'm pretty amazed at how well it does in the wind. Now, the windscreen's electric. I'm going to take it down so you can see it, and then take it back up. Now, the crosswinds, I still get quite a bit of wind on my body, but normal conditions at highway speed, let's say at 70, 80 miles an hour, with this windscreen up, you're pretty much just insulated from all the wind. You're like sitting in a bubble. In fact, I'm almost thinking in this area here, I need some swing vents to pull some air in on my body. On hot days, I found that I could use, even at 70 or 80 miles an hour, I'm not getting enough air on my body to cool me down. So I wouldn't mind having a couple of vents here to bring some air in, extra air. The windscreen up to keep it off of my head, and little wings, I guess you could call them air wings, to pull wind in on my body. That would be great. I hope some aftermarket people come up with a widget that you can bolt on there easily and bring some air in. So that's really my only complaint on this machine, is that the aerodynamics are so good, you get almost nothing on your body. And really, that's a small complaint to make, because it's so good otherwise. I'm very happy. Now, I showed you the cruise control, excuse me. Then you have this menu button, if you can see that here with my left hand. You can scroll through that, and then on the screen here you get different options. So I'm set at Dyna now. That's the ride, and I think that has to do with the performance of the engine. It's a computer thing, so I can set it on road, and I'm thinking you get a little softer ride with that, with what I understand. It softens up the suspension a little, and I think that the aggressiveness of the engine is probably taken out a little. I'm not sure how that works. It doesn't really matter. It has so much power that it scares me. I've never gotten into it really all the way yet. And I doubt that I will. I just don't need that kind of power. Also in the menu, it has a trip odometer, trip 1, trip 2, etc. It also has an auto setting. I can go down here, and every time you start, I think it resets to 0, which is not a bad option. The heated grips is the next thing, and it has 5 settings, minimum through maximum, and then all the way down to off. And I have to tell you, I asked the salesman how the grips were, the heated grips, because I've had complaints over the years that heated grips aren't really good enough. And he said atomic, and what he means by that, if you put it on 5, you have a heat bomb. I mean, it is incredible. So no one can complain about the heated grips on this motorcycle. They really are that good. 5 different settings. And then the next menu is heated. Let's see, I missed that. The next menu is heated seat. You have the rider has 5 positions on the heated seat, 5 different heating levels, and then the passenger has their own button, and they have 2 heated seat levels, high and low. There's an audio setting. It has audio, it's a radio, FM, etc. I think you can sync it to an iPhone. I don't use a radio. To me, a radio on the motorcycle is something that I really don't use or need. So those are some of the options on the bike. So we're going to pull over here and see what the Bitterroot River looks like.